Okay. Hello, world. Oh, I guess I have to do this.
You're coming in a little bit garbled again.
Okay. How about now? Is that better? Is that better?
A little bit better. That's better.
Okay. All right. So this is, what's the date?
23rd
Of November
23rd.
2015. 3 days before Thanksgiving. So Wednesday we're having our annual Thanksgiving feast here at lunch after, well, I'm not sure exactly what time. It might be at 1 o'clock. We might shift everything ahead so that we do that at 1. But that's Wednesday, Wednesday. Thursday we're not going to be here. And hopefully if Phyllis gets the keys, we will be here on Friday. But we'll let you know as soon as we know. Okay, so this class is our Google Apps class. And this week we're going to focus on Gmail. Now, who remembers something about Gmail from today's event list? No one? Bueller? Bueller? Okay, well, I know that Marty and Stephanie were calling.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to know. But in the very beginning of the event, it talks about something about Gmail. All right, so we're going to do it. Now, for new people, and so let's see, has Terry been given the format of how to do his composition book yet?
Yes.
Okay, Terry, is your composition book?
You didn't do it yet.
Okay, all right. So go into about page 10 in your book, your composition book. Just skip forward to about 10 pages. And everybody else, either you should have this page, everybody should have this page, but if you don't, create a page. And so what we do, because I haven't articulated recently, but your composition books are your reference manual for the future. They're not designed to be like a yellow pad or a spiral binder or a 3-ring binder where you throw it away. This is designed as something that you keep in the future to help you become more productive and do your job better. So in our composition book, in and about, I don't know, how many was it, 4 pages is the table of contents? You have a table of contents, and the table of contents is to have the major categories. One major category is going to be Google Apps. Another major category is employment, planning, workshop. And then you have another page in your book called Google Apps. And that's the page I'm referring to right now, that everybody should be on that page. So whatever page that is, the page number should be in the bottom right corner of the page, and it should be an odd number. We only number our composition books on the bottom right corner of the page, and we only do odd numbers. Why? Why do, we're just talking about why is it an odd number on the bottom right corner? Well, you don't have an even number. At this age, you shouldn't need to have an even number to know what the page number is, right? If it says page 55 on the lower right corner, what do I know that the page on the left is? Right, okay? So we don't need to waste time numbering every page, and the reason we do the bottom right corner is so that it makes it easy to flip through to find a page. That's why we do that. So everything we do in this composition book is a reference manual, and this should be a guide for any other thing that you do. If you have a hobby, you should have a composition book. If you have, for work, you should have your composition book that's your reference manual for work. So on the Google Apps page, what I want you to do is to draw a what? What should be on that page? Huh? Well, Okay?
Yeah.
So we start with an X. But yeah, you're right. So when you're done, it looks like it starts. So either everybody here should either have a blank page that says Google Apps at the top, or you should have a asterisk on it. Okay?
To be right there. So you know what you have.
The most important thing that you learn here is the cloud. Why? Dwayne.
All the apps collaborate with each other.
Okay, so all of the apps collaborate. That's why we use Google Cloud. But the reason the most important thing to learn here is because that's the thing that you know that other people looking for jobs don't know. And if you don't know it now, and you go out there, just start talking to people and say, what do you know about the cloud? What cloud apps do you know? And you're going to find out they don't know. And the longer those people have been at a company, the less likely they are to know the cloud. So here's the example I used. At the turn of the century, and I mean the 20th century, not the 21st century, but at the turn of the century, how was all beer delivered to bars?
If you have it, don't worry about it.
What's that?
Don't have it.
With a horse-drawn wagon,
Right.
okay? A horse-drawn wagon. All beer was delivered on a horse-drawn wagon. Why? Huh?
That was the only transportation.
Yeah, because people didn't have trucks. At that company that had these horse-drawn wagons and these horses, who was a very important person in that process? That's not a person. Who's an important person?
Deliver and drive.
Or no, well, he's important, but who is an important person in a company that has horses pulling wagons?
The farm.
The horse guy. The guy who makes sure that the horses are taken care of. And they're not sick, and they're fed, and they can do their job, and they're groomed, and whatever. That guy's very important. When that beer company decided to buy a truck instead of having horses, who was no longer important? The horse guy. The horse guy he was very important before, but as soon as they decided to switch over to trucks, did he have any value? No, he didn't have any value. Now, what about the guy who just graduated from motor repair?
Very important.
Was he important?
Absolutely very important.
What if he just graduated from engine school?
He's the most important person.
Did they say, well, you just graduated from engine school, I need somebody with more experience?
No job. No,
Why not?
he was the first one.
Because there wasn't anybody with more experience out there, right? Okay, these are new. As soon as these beer people and everybody else got, wow, I can deliver more beer for less money with a truck than I can with a horse-drawn wagon, guess what everybody did?
Switched over.
They switched over, okay? The cloud is the same thing. The cloud is the motorized truck compared to the horse-drawn wagon of just computers and the internet. One day, everybody's going to know how to use the cloud. Today, our students are people just learning to use the cloud before anybody else does. The cloud is the number one tool that you have to get a job against people who've been doing this for a long time before that don't know how to do it. They know how to type. They know Microsoft Office. You can't get a job if you can't type. You can't get a job if you don't know word processing and spreadsheets and things like that. You can't get that. But here, if it is a new career, if you worked at the post office or you did something else and this is a new career and you're competing with people who've done this for 10 or 15 years or 5 years or 3 years, you are at a very big disadvantage. The cloud is what gives us the advantage in getting hired. But that means you need to know two things, right?
Right.
What? Oops.
Google Apps and Gmail.
Okay, you need to know two things. You need to know the cloud. Because if you say, hire me because I know the cloud, and you don't know the cloud, what happens? It's not good. right? Okay. The other thing you need to know is what? You need to know the cloud, and you need to be able to do what? Articulate that you know the cloud. Because does it do you any good if you're in your interview and you never bring up the cloud? And then somebody calls you, I call you, Dennis calls you, Rose calls you, somebody calls you up and said, how'd the interview go? And you say, well, I don't think it went very well. And they say, well, did you talk about the cloud? And you say, no, because they never asked me about the cloud. Whose fault is that? Yeah. So you need to be able to articulate the cloud. Knowing the cloud isn't enough. They need to know that you know the cloud, and they need to know that you can help bring the cloud to their employment. What does the cloud do? Why should people move to the cloud? Why should businesses move to the cloud? So this now would go on the right, on the left side of your page. Why the cloud? Why the cloud? You need to be able to articulate this to employers. So now's the time that you write.
You don't know why.
Okay, why?
Work together, update often, easy to use.
Okay, but why? What do all employers care about in California? What are the two things all employers care about?
Money, save money.
Okay, so this needs to be on your page,
Right.
many pages in your book. Employers
Money.
fundamentally. Now, when I say employers at this school, we don't teach people to get jobs in nonprofit companies. We don't teach people to get jobs in government jobs. You can get those. That's not what our purpose is. Our purpose is to help people get jobs in, our purpose is to help people get jobs in for-profit businesses. And for-profit businesses only care about two things. As Dennis said, they care about making money. And who said that? Who said save money? And in California, they also said, okay, Rita, save money. That's the only thing businesses fundamentally care about. They don't care about collaboration if it doesn't make them money or save them money. They don't care about saving money in software if it's not going to make them money.
Right.
If it's not as good, they're not going to do it. You know, if you were a beer company and you had a bunch of horses and a bunch of wagons to pull the horses, and somebody said, well, you can buy a truck. If you were smart, would you say, no, I don't want to spend money on a truck because I've already got my horses and wagons paid for? Well, a lot of people did. And then what happened is they were at a competitive disadvantage. So when they waited, when they decided, no, I don't need to spend money to buy a truck right now, a gasoline-powered wagon, I don't need to spend money to buy gasoline-powered money right now. I'm not going to go in debt. I'm not going to borrow money to do that because my horses and my wagon's already paid for. They were at a competitive disadvantage. What do you think customers saw when they saw a brand new beer truck pull up to the bar next to them? Do you think they thought, boy, that guy's stupid to buy a truck? No. They must have thought, wow, that beer is really successful. He can afford to buy. That guy's a good businessman. He can afford to buy a truck. My beer delivery guy still has the old technology. Businesses care about making money and saving money. So why the cloud? Because it's going to make them money or save them money. That's why they switched to the cloud. How's it going to make them money? How do you make more money? Generally in a business. No.
Selling more product.
Okay. So it's either more customers, right? Right? More customers. You get more customers. Or customers spend more. When Amazon started, what did they sell? No, what did Amazon sell? Books. All they sold was books. What do they sell now? Everything. When Zappos started, what did they sell? Shoes. What do they sell now? A lot more than shoes. Okay, they do a lot more than shoes. They use the cloud to get customers to spend more money. And they also got more customers. So the cloud helps you get more customers or get customers to spend more money. The other thing the cloud does is it makes you more efficient. Okay? In a period of May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, in a period of, it was really like about 5 months, but in 8 months, we went from no magazine to the only national monthly magazine for the Italian American community. And there's about 16 million Italian Americans in this country. We have the only magazine, oh, Phyllis, let's add to the list Santa Fe Springs to send them a box, prior email. We have the only national monthly magazine for Italian Americans because we use the cloud because it's a lot more efficient than doing it the way all the other magazine companies do it. So this class, I think, is the most important class from the perspective of getting jobs. And I can't even think of an employer who does not move to the cloud. Kaiser Hospitals now, or Kaiser Permanente, California. Doctor's office is moving away from paper files. They're using Google Docs. They're doing Hangouts on air like we're doing, where the doctors visit, or the doctor might be in Sacramento, but you're in a doctor's office in LA. There's a nurse in there or a physician assistant in the thing with you doing the stuff, and the doctor is communicating from somewhere else. He can see all your records. All your records are stored on the cloud. So that means you move to some other Kaiser, some other city, and guess where your records are? They're with you. You go have x-rays, they're converted to a DVD, stored on the cloud, not these film x-rays anymore. Any Kaiser person can get them. That's the direction they're moving. So the cloud is the most important thing that you can learn to help you get a job. Don't get me wrong. You need to know how to type. You need to know word processing. You need to know all that stuff. If you're doing QuickBooks, you want to get into accounting, you need to have QuickBooks. If you're doing medical stuff, you need to have medical terminology. You need to have that stuff. Coding, the classes that we have. You need to know that, but you've got to get everybody else knows that too, that you're competing with for a job. And if they have more experience than you, what does that mean about your chances of getting a job? It's lesser, lower. You need to have an advantage. You need to have something they don't have, and that thing is the cloud. That's what you need to be able to articulate when you're in an interview. Now, let's talk about the Google apps that we learned. There's a lot of Google apps. We only learned 8 Google apps, and the thing to know is why Google? Why Google? Marty, one reason, why Google? So everybody should write these down so you have them. Why Google? Hint. It's free. One reason is it's free. California, one reason for why Google apps. Why the Google Cloud?
But they work well, treat well.
Okay, so they work together. Okay, what's another reason? Okay, frequent updates. It's always current. Frequent small updates instead of major ones. Okay, what did you say, Mike?
It is easy to use.
Okay, easy to learn.
Right.
Easy to learn. What else? What's another thing?
More than one way to use it.
Okay, so that goes under it's easy to learn. There's more than one way to do everything. I'm going to put that on the board. More than one way. Okay, what's another reason? How about it's Google? It's not Ed's cloud, it's the Google cloud. Is Google going to be around 20 years from now? Absolutely. Okay, they spend a tremendous amount of money making sure their stuff works, it's secure, it's robust, etc. It's a safe bet, and they're going to continue to come out with new apps. A lot of the stuff that they're doing that we don't do has to do with payment. So now you can use your smartphone. You don't even need, you just wave it over the machine. Instead of, that has the card reader. Okay, now card readers have applications on that you just tap your phone on or wave your phone over. You don't need to enter your PIN number. You don't need to do anything. They make it easy to collect payment and to make payment. So these are just different things they're doing. So it's Google. You need to be able to articulate why. We talked about why the cloud, because it makes them more customers and more efficient, or make more money through more customers, or customers spend more money. It's more efficient. Now the question is, why the Google cloud? Because of these reasons here. It's free, all of the apps work together, frequent small updates, easy to learn. There's more than one way to do anything in Google, and it's Google. And there's some other things too. But those are the main reasons we use the Google cloud. Now let's go to the right side of the page. Okay, California, what's one app?
They said Gmail.
Gmail. Okay.
Calendar.
Calendar, good. What else?
Map.
Maps. Okay.
Just go to that.
What else?
Drive.
Drive. Mike has a mind melt. Okay, now, when you have those four, then you put another X down the middle like that, so you have 8. Okay, what's another one? Voice. YouTube. YouTube. What else in California?
What?
Chrome.
Google Plus.
What? Google Plus, right, and Google Plus. Okay, now, I put a box around Chrome. These can be anywhere on your thing. It doesn't matter where they are. I put a box around Chrome. Why? Chrome is not really an app. It's a program.
Right.
Why? What's the difference between an app and a program? This should be on your left page. Right. So a program is stored on your computer. An app is stored on the cloud. Okay. Chrome is stored on your computer. It's the gateway to the internet. It's like what? What does it compete with? In California, what does Chrome compete with?
Okay.
What does Chrome compete with?
Someone said
Firefox, what else? Internet Explorer, right, okay? So that's what Chrome is.
Right.
And Chrome is designed, and these apps are all designed to work the most efficiently in Chrome. And what is the operating system? I'm going to put the other one down here. What's the other operating system that Google has? Well, actually, it's an operating system. This is a browser. Android. Okay? So Android is Google's operating system. I've been reading lately that Google is going to start integrating more and more things into Android. So it could be possible that Chrome one day goes away, that it's merged into Android, because Android is the mobile operating system. Okay, so these are the apps that we use. These are the 8 apps that we focus on. There's a lot more than these 8, but these are the main 8. If you know these 8, you can learn any of the other apps. The last thing we do with this is we want to make sure that we understand that these apps are all interconnected. So the next thing you do is you have to draw a line from the apps to the other apps. So in other words, Google Plus connects into Gmail. It connects to Voice. It connects to your calendar. And you can go all the way around. You can go all the way around here, and ultimately it looks like a spider web. That all of the apps are interconnected. I only did some of it. It's a much more intricate web. So there's a lot more connections in the cloud. So that's an important thing to do. But every day, what you should do until you can create this thing in 15 seconds is every day you should go to this page in your book, like when you get here in the morning, or right before lunch, or right after lunch, when you're ready to get started. Just look at this page and say to yourself the names of each one of these apps and picture that app in your brain. Why? Talk to me about why in terms of the connectome.
So you won't forget.
Okay, but why? What makes you not forget? Huh? Okay, so you make another copy in your brain. Every time you see it, write it, say it, you make another copy in your brain. So if every day you're looking at this and you're saying these apps, when you get into an interview, kind of like on Fridays at 1:30, when you get up in front of the camera, what do you not do? You do remember, you don't freeze, right? Okay? So if you have multiple copies in your brain, let's say you have 1,000 copies in your brain, let's say 100, and 999 of them are frozen. Can you still answer the question? Yeah, because you have one more copy. Okay? Usually we get in there, we have one copy, it's in a part of our brain, we get asked a question, we freeze. What is the person you're talking to perceive? What is your body language telling them? Not sure. I can't trust you completely. I can't believe in you. When you tell me you know the cloud, and I say, well, what do you know? And your first word is, Okay, how do I feel? Do I want to bet you're going to take my employees to the cloud? When your first answer is, How about if your first answer is this? Yeah, I don't know. If you look at this every day and you say these things to yourself and you picture what they do, and you get asked a question, what do you mean the cloud? Are you going to be able to come up with an answer? Yeah, you absolutely will. And if you look up, you might say, okay, you might look up and then your answer to them is, basically, I'm just trying to think of where to start telling you what I know about the cloud. Because if you're not sophisticated, I have to tell you a little differently than if you really are a sophisticated person, right? So, that's one of the challenges. You go to law school. When you talk to people who are lawyers, you use a different vocabulary. When you talk to people, then when you talk to people who are not lawyers. And, at least at the law school I went to, the thing was, say what you mean and mean what you say. And when somebody says something to you, don't interpret what they mean by that. You need to hold them accountable for the words they use. Because we always hear people say something and then you say something back. And they say, well, you know what I meant. Well, no, I only know what you said. So like when I was at camp, a lot of people would say, "You feel me?" And I would say no, but I understand what you're saying. Okay? So in law school, you don't say things like, "You feel me?" Because they take that to mean, okay, yeah, I do. No, I don't. So, so if they ask you, well, what do you mean by the cloud? It would be okay to look up and then let them know the reason you looked up is you weren't trying to figure these out. You were trying to figure the easiest way to explain it to that person, to give them the best answer. And they'll know that by the answer that you gave. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about why we do this class? Any questions? Anybody want to volunteer to repeat why we do this class?
Better employment.
Okay, so now does anybody remember Amy Cuddy? What was her, how did she start her talk? Doing a free life hack. Okay, and what was she talking about at the very beginning? Marty? No, she said check your body language. Check your body language. The way that you are sitting says a lot about what's going on in your brain.
Who said that?
Amy Cuddy. Fake it till you become it. Okay, she started by talking about body language. And then she went into certain types of body language release certain chemicals in your body that can increase or decrease your cortisol depending upon what you do. Does anybody remember, and if you don't remember, under important thoughts in your book, you need to write down the question or the answer to the question of how can you sell something to anybody if they can afford it and they need it? Okay, Stephanie got it right within 2 seconds. If you can read their mind. Okay, we can't really directly read people's minds right now, but you can tell by their body language what's going on in people's minds. So if you're sitting there like this, what does that say?
You go.
Yeah, okay. You're not really engaged in what's going on. When you're in an interview or when you're in class, you should get in the habit of at least acting like you are engaged. If you're at work and you're the new person, you need to act like you are engaged. You should be engaged, but if you're not engaged, you should at least act like you're engaged. If you want to have stable employment there, if you want to be able to get paid the highest amount that you're possibly worth, that's what you need to do. So we're going to turn it over in just a second. The last comment I have is what is very important is to be engaged. Be engaged in your future. Be engaged in your future. What we do at Larson Training Centers is we treat our students like they're adults. Why? What do employers want to hire? Adults, unless you're who? Zappos. Then you want to hire people who are what?
Nerds.
No, not a little bit weird. A little bit weird. No, but they also want to hire adults. They don't want to hire kids. Okay? Adults are responsible for their own actions. They're responsible for their futures. Okay? Unfortunately, in school, everybody started school before they were an adult, right? And not everybody finished school when they were an adult. In fact, if you just got through high school, you really kind of weren't an adult. You might have been 18, but you really weren't an adult. Most people that could go to graduate from high school live at home. They don't have a job. They don't have, they don't have to rent an apartment. They don't have to do stuff. So most people finish school where they're not really treated like adults, so they don't know, or when you come into class, we resort back to what we were in school before. Non-adults, thinking that it's the responsibility of the school or the teacher to take care of you. Doesn't work that way at work. When you go to work, they expect you are going to act like an adult. You're going to be responsible for your own behavior. And so, even though we get very high marks as a school from employers and from agencies, oftentimes we do not get high marks from students because they say, boo-hoo, they didn't get me a job. Okay, that's not adult behavior, right? Do adults? Well, some adults say boo-hoo, but boo-hoo is not a term that adults use. Employers don't want people who complain and say, well, it's my employer's fault that I didn't do that. It's their job to do this. No, the only thing they do is give you an opportunity, and life is not supposed to be fair. Maybe it should be fair, but it isn't fair. And anybody who complains about life not being fair, that's not adult behavior, because adults get life is not fair. So part of becoming more engaged in your future is to start having behavior that employers want, which is adult behavior. And for here, it's taking responsibility. And the number one thing for here is your employment planning workshop, which we did for the last 2 weeks. You really can have, I promise you, you can have any job you want that you're qualified for, or if you're willing to do it, needs to be done. You can have anything you want. You just have to do what you need to do to get the job. Sitting saying, I really want to work at Zappos, and then saying, but I'm waiting till they put an ad in there hiring people, that means you don't really want to get a job at Zappos. You'd like Zappos to hire you, but you're not willing to do what you need to do to get the job. And the job of getting a job at Zappos is taking responsibility, doing your research on Zappos, finding the job you want, and being able to articulate to them why you're the best person for the job. And not wait for them to say, we're looking for somebody to fill this position. Get in there. So, the good news is, even though we often don't get high marks from students, when the question is asked, well, which students are saying this? And you can go on YouTube and you can look at our graduation things where students come up and they talk about their experience at Larson. And it's always the same. People who participated, who acted like adults in school, who took responsibility for their futures, always say very good things about the school because they took advantage of what we offered. The other people are polite. Well, thank you for being here. Phyllis, thanks for helping me. They do that, but it's clear they're not taking responsibility for their future. So when agencies look at these, and they do, because we send them as part of our emails as attachments, like Tony Shea, Chris Anderson from TED, consistently we send out links to these videos. The people who are the ones that say the school sucks are also the ones that you can tell did not take responsibility for what the school was doing. Okay? And now I get, we're all conditioned by elementary school, maybe we had high school where they did not treat you like an adult. So I want to articulate that I get why it's easy to not act like an adult, because our experience of school was we weren't adults. When you get into college, if you go to a good college, they really start treating you like adults, and most people, not most, a good percentage of people in college, good colleges, do have jobs, and they have some level of responsibility. When you go to graduate school, like law school, you basically are pretty much an adult. There are some people in law school, they went to high school, they went to college, then they went to law school just as a continuation. They don't usually do too well in there. The people who usually do better are people who are adults that go to graduate school, because you have to act like an adult to learn and do the things, because they're not gonna force you to do it. They're not gonna say, go do your homework and turn it in. They're going to ask you questions, and they're going to expect you to know it. So what we're going to put an emphasis on is getting people to become more engaged, break the old habits that we had, that we were brought up with, that might have been good in elementary school. We're going to break those habits and start focusing on becoming more involved in our own future. Now, having said that, Dennis, you have some new people?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay.
Let's meet them.
All right.
Oh, good. Rose has another camera,
Yeah.
except the lens needs to be clean.
The mic. That's right. Stand up.
Okay, see how clear that one is?
It's nothing. Yes, you have to. Right. Okay. Now let's wait.
Morning.
And let's see. Okay. All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Just go ahead and
What is your name?
ask you what you do. Oh, you don't have to. Her name is Beauty. Yeah.
You have to spell that.
Beauty.
Oh, Judy.
Beauty.
Judy.
No, not Beauty. Like, like,
Julie.
no, Beauty. Beauty. Like beautiful. Like beautiful.
Are you saying Noonie?
Okay. Beauty. That's in
Judy. How do you spell it?
B-E-A. Right. B-E-D.
B is a boy. Yeah.
U-T-Y. Beauty.
Oh, Beauty.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that the first time?
Good job.
Okay, good. Beauty, where are you from?
Okay. Stand back up. Let's see. There you go. Whittier.
Whittier. Okay, so right nearby. And where did you work before? Here. You came to Larson.
She worked at a dealership.
Car dealership?
Yes.
Oh, what kind of cars?
Used luxury.
Okay, used luxury cars. So that would be like Johnny Legends and our Chowtuti. What are you taking at school?
Taking county.
QuickBooks. Okay.
So she has that.
Okay, great. Okay, Beauty, thank you. I'm going to please send me an email so I can add you to the circles and get you your professional email account.
Just stand there. See? We have.
Okay?
Okay. Just a little bit. There you go.
Good morning.
She said color.
Hello. What is your name?
What's your name?
Tell us about yourself.
Just Maria.
Pretend you're not nervous.
Maria.
Maria?
Yes.
And where are you from, Maria? Garden Grove?
Garden Grove.
Okay. Anybody here know where Garden Grove is? A couple people from near there? 3 people? Okay, good. And what are you taking here?
The same thing as the county.
Okay. Great. So, are you a little bit nervous? Talking to the whole world?
Okay.
you're in good hands with Dennis and Rose.
Okay.
Who else, Dennis?
All right. Here's Patricia.
Tricia.
Patricia.
Patricia. Hello, Patricia. You got to speak up.
Good morning.
Good morning. And where are you from, Patricia?
I'm from Auckland.
Upland?
La Puente.
La what?
Puente.
Oh, La Puente. Okay. Anybody here know where that is? Is that off like the 60 or something? Or the 91? No, the 90? Is that off the 90 or the 57?
Like the 60.
605? Okay, everybody here says it's the 605. Great. And what are you taking, Patricia? Medical bookkeeping.
Right. So she's CP.
And where did you come from?
I used to work for
Post office?
Yeah.
Okay. How many years? 17? Good. Congratulations. That's great. So welcome to the school. Please send me an email, and I will add you to the circles, and then we'll get you your professional email account.
And then last, please. We have one more.
Okay?
There you go.
Okay. This is our superstar.
Yeah.
Okay? You got to say it loud enough for everyone to hear.
Francisco Chavez.
Francisco. And where are you from originally, Francisco? Or where? Tuscany. Okay. And you're taking business sales, right? So you're going to be joining us in the afternoons as soon as Rose says you're ready to go. You know, maybe another week. And then you'll be part of what we do here. Okay? Okay? I should look into this. Good. Okay, well, welcome. So for everybody in California, welcome. You're in really good hands with Rose and Dennis. You know, they don't do this because it's just a job. They do it because they really care. And I think you know that, or will know that very soon. So now, who here hasn't done this yet? Jesus? Mike? From where? Okay, well, let's just do this, just in case, because I think you did too, but. Okay, where are you from? So here's our people.
So my name's Mike Gray. I'm from Burlington, Vermont.
Okay. Burlington, Vermont. Okay, great. Have you done this, Mike? How about you, Marty?
Yes.
How about you, Dave?
Hi, my name's Dave Sweetland, and I'm a graduate of Larson Training Center.
So Dave is an instructor here. Okay, Laretha, did you do it? What did you say?
I'm Larita Smith, and I'm originally from Tallulah, Louisiana.
Tallulah, Louisiana. Okay, Jesus.
Jesus, and I'm from Reno, Nevada.
Oops, wait a second. Your head got chopped off. Okay. Jesus from Reno, Nevada. Good. Now let's see. We have a new student today. Terry, you want to say something? Hi, I'm Terry. Okay, where are you from originally? Eugene, Oregon? West Jordan? Oh, Utah. Utah. Okay. Terry's from Utah. Now we have somebody who's just getting started here. Smile. What is your name?
Irene.
Irene is taking her. Are you doing typing now or your part test? Okay, so Irene is doing her part test. And where's Deanna? For prisoners?
No, actually,
Okay. Right. Right. Where'd Stephanie go? Okay. Okay, so it's break time. Tomorrow we're going to get into Gmail, and we're going to learn to use Gmail as professionals. Oh, there's Stephanie. She's back. You did what?
Got on there and told who I was and everything.
Okay, but you were gone.
Stephanie.
Okay. All right, Dennis, are there any questions in California?
Yeah, we have one
Oh, one more student. Great.
right here. She's right there. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. No, ask me. Okay.
We're going to have to get you a microphone.
Okay, this is Sherelle. Sherelle, what?
How do you spell it?
Sherelle.
Sherelle. A-L-L. or S?
S-H-R-E-L-L.
Okay. Sherelle, where are you from? Gardena? Okay, cool. And how far is that from Santa Fe Springs? That's how much traffic there is?
She said, she says 50, some other is different.
Okay, and lastly, what are you taking?
Okay. Accounting.
Accounting. Okay, cool. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. And again, please send me an email so I can add you to the circles. And we'll start tomorrow with Gmail. Our goal is to use Gmail as professionals. And that's a whole different ballgame than just how most people have been using Gmail.
Okay.
Okay, Sherelle, thank you.
No problem.
See, Sherelle is confident. She's not, has no fear.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, break time, everyone. Thank you for being there, California.
All right, you're welcome. You're out.